What's good, everybody? It's your man's Ken Jackson. It's the Ken Jackson Experience. Ken's Morning Coffee. How y'all doing on this fine Saturday morning? Out here at one of my favorite spots by the waterfront in the inlet. And figured I'd come out and get my ass back to work. Sticking to my New Year's resolution to be more productive. And I decided that I don't care so much about topics. I'm just gonna stream my daily life and just have some fun with this shit. So right here, I don't know if y'all, I know you can't see it, but I'm going to turn this around. This is, I guess it's an old boat dock. Usually it's underwater. And so it's low tide right now. So this is my first time walking out on this thing. I've been living here for 30 years now. And I've never walked out on this. I see guys out here fishing some days. And, but I've never had the opportunity myself to walk out here until today. Because actually, this is the first time I've seen it this much above water. So tide is real low. But it's beautiful out today. A little cloudy, partly cloudy. But that's good. This is typical South Florida weather. This is why I love it down here so much. You flip back around here. South Florida has always been a cool place to live. A lot of people, don't like the heat in the summertime. It gets extremely hot down here. It's crazy, but it's all good. So I'm testing out a new configuration today. I have my gimbal, but I got it set up on my selfie stick. I can't really show it to you right now because I'm actually using it, but it's something I thought about a while back. I said, this gimbal has its own little tripod that attaches to the bottom. I said, you know what? I said, I bet that would attach to my selfie stick, which is a tripod as well. I'm going to take some pictures and put it up on the website later so y'all can check it out. For those of you that are looking to getting into like mobile podcasting and mobile filmmaking and shit like that, I'll show you what my final rig looks like. But just to enlighten y'all, I do all of my recording now on the iPhone 17 Pro. It's perfect size for the gimbal that I use, which is the Hohem iSteady M7. And this little selfie stick that I got, I don't know the brand name. It's like an off-brand, but I got it on TikTok, and I'm sure you've all seen it. But like I said, I'll take some pictures and I'll put up on the website later. In fact, if you haven't visited the website, please go check it out. It's www.crazybabytvworld.com. You don't have to subscribe to anything when you get to the page. There ain't going to be any pop-ups or nothing like that. No merchandise, pictures or anything like that. It's just my home on the internet. So check it out. My own little piece of real estate. But in any case, this year it's all about, being consistent, being more serious, and just having some fun. I used to overthink this shit. I used to sit around and think up topics, that I wanted to cover, and you know, every day it was a chore trying to come up with a topic to discuss. And then yesterday I watched a guy on YouTube, and he said something to me that was very, very enlightening. And in fact, it was a comedian that said it. And he said, and I'm using his exact words, not mine, but his exact words were, bums are out here making thousands of dollars on the internet while you're sitting at home trying to think of the perfect video to make. And I thought about that. Oh, wow, there's a sea turtle out here. I got distracted. Hold on, let me flip this around. I don't know if I can zoom into that now, but there he is. Nope, the zoom ain't gonna work, but he's poking his head up out of the water. I see a lot of them lately, and I think that's a good sign. More and more sea turtles out here. But anyway, as I was saying, this particular comedian said bums are out here making thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, some of them, you know, who knows, maybe a few million, with no content, really. They're just out here, you know, filming all day, you know, filming their bum lifestyle. Their, you know, and I'm not calling them bums, you know, in a derogatory term, you know, but basically what he was saying is here are people, you know, with no studios, and they don't have all this fancy gear, you know, really no technical knowledge. All they got is a smartphone, and they're just filming their daily lives, going about their lives every day out here in the world, getting millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views, and making money, you know, online. And while us, you know, we're supposed to be the smart, intelligent, you know, capable people, and we go out and we get all the high-tech gear and all the fancy shit, and then we sit around trying to come up with topics, you know, planning, you know, writing scripts and trying to shoot the perfect video and not making a dime. You know what I'm saying? And it made so much sense to me. You know, consistency is the key. Consistency and persistence. I had somebody in my inbox recently talking about, you know, podcast gear should be more expensive, because he didn't like some of my posts that I made about the Trump administration, you know, and some of my commentary he definitely didn't like. And I guess he thought that if podcast gear was more expensive, that I wouldn't be podcasting. And he couldn't be more wrong, because the only gear that you need is a smartphone. It doesn't take a lot. You got a lot of people out here that spend too much money on gear. Good morning, sir. And, you know, like me, I'm one of them. You know, I spent a lot of money, you know, researching equipment and this and that. And the whole time, I was basically trying to get over my fear of being on camera. Because I still don't like being on camera. I don't like talking to the masses, so to speak. I grew up a very shy guy. You know, for those of you that knew me when I was young, you knew I didn't fuck with too many people, you know. I mean, I had my normal friends, you know, that we grew up with, you know, that I grew up with, but I wasn't that outgoing. You know, I was never an aggressive type of dude. Come to find out later, there were girls that liked me. I never knew it, because I never approached girls when I was a kid. I was never that type of kid, you know. I stayed to myself pretty much, and didn't bother nobody. I was a quiet one. But in any case, we spend a lot of time trying to get that perfect shot, trying to come up with the perfect subject to talk about. And we end up wasting a lot of time. We end up procrastinating and never really getting any content out there. Now, I got a lot of content online because when I was in the music business, I did document a lot of stuff, and and was putting it out there long before this was a big thing. And so I do have a big digital footprint. My son was reminding me of that just the other day. He's a dad. You got a lot online, so which is going to be good for my grandkids, because there's stuff that they can go look at and say, man, that's my grandfather. And I thought that was to me, that's what legacy is all about. Being able to leave something behind that your grandchildren and maybe great-grandchildren can look back on and say, hey, that's my family, that's my grandpa, So for this year, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna broadcast. I'm just gonna create whatever. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. I'm just gonna turn the camera on and shoot whatever is out there to be shot and talk about whatever it is that's on my mind. And so today I'm talking about, persistence and consistency, And if this is something that you want to do, don't overthink this shit. Don't make it, more complicated than it is, because then you'll be like me. You'll spend years and not really getting anything productive done, And I'm not saying I didn't get anything done, but had I been, more persistent, and less worried about the perfect story and the perfect subject, my channel would probably be a lot further along than what it is now. So that's all I'm talking about. Oh. So basically, I say all that to say this. If you're looking to do something, just do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody shatter your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Just do whatever it is that you plan to do. And oh man, tight getting in this car because this motherfucker next to me parked close as shit. No, he didn't have to park that damn close, but in any case, it is what it is. Let me let these windows down and get some air in here.
The state police, meaning local and state officers, are involved.
It is hot in this car. But anyway, hope everybody's having an enjoyable Saturday morning. I just dropped my grandbaby off to her grandmother. After I had her all night last night, most of the day yesterday, and I am tired. Let me tell you something. An 8-month-old is a lot of work. A whole lot of work. And then I had my grandson, he's 7. And then I have my twin granddaughters, they're 5. But I dropped them off with their dad. And so I didn't have to deal with all 4 of them. And my grandson spent the night with his grandmother last night. So it was just me and the baby all night. And let me tell you something. It was literally me and the baby all night. She kept my ass up all night, laughing and giggling and, trying to get into everything. But you know what? As tired as I was and as tired as I still am, there is nothing in this world better than spending time with my grandbabies. If I don't do anything else, I'm going to spend some time with the babies because for me, one, I still can't believe I got grandkids. This is a point in my life that I never thought I would make it to. I really didn't. And it's not because, I had such a hard life growing up. It's just, I don't know, it's that programmed thinking. I think for most black men, we don't think we're going to live past, 21. And then when we hit 21, we don't think we're going to live past 30, and I consider myself fortunate. I made it to 60. Hopefully I'll make it to 61. But, so whenever I'm with my grandkids, I'm like, wow, this is, such an amazing time in my life, that I want to enjoy every minute of it, every single minute. And, so I take all the time that I can, to spend with the babies. And it's just it, but like I said, she kept me up all night long and I was tired as hell. And I was just pleading, please, please, baby girl, go to sleep. I just dropped her off to her grandmother and she's still on 100. I mean, she's just busy, wants to explore everything, curious about everything, and she don't miss nothing. Her eyes are sharp as hell. She sees something, when she locks onto something, she don't stop until she can get her hands on it, and I love that about her. I can tell that she's gonna be different. We're going to have to keep our eye on her because she's so curious. She's just starting to crawl. I'm sure she'll be walking before she hits a year old. My son was walking at 7 months. That was crazy to me. That's how I came up with this name, Crazy Baby. My son, he's the original Crazy Baby. He's the one that started it all. And now, what's today's date? Today is the 10th. Tomorrow's my son's birthday. He's going to be 30 years old, my firstborn. And wow. Sometimes I just can't believe it. I got a 30-year-old son. I got a 28-year-old daughter. Is she 28 or 29? 28. Yeah, she's 28. And then I got my youngest daughter who just turned 26 a few days ago. And then 4 grandkids. I'm just amazed. I am totally amazed at this point in my life. And happy. That's the thing. I'm happy. I don't live nowhere near the lifestyle that I used to live when I was in the music business. Now it's just more of a, calm, quiet, stress-free way of living, and I'm totally content. And I think that's the point that most people want to reach in their life, when they get to a point where they're just happy and content, with no worries, no stress. That's where I'm at. And I like it like this. I wake up in the mornings when I do get to sleep. because I don't sleep a lot, even when I don't have the babies. I don't know if that's a part of getting older as well. I don't know. I try to get me some naps during the day, though. I really do, but it never works out because I always find myself doing something. Especially lately, I've been getting more active. I sat around for a long time and didn't do much of anything, and I think that's partly contributed to some of my health issues that I was having, and it's still having, actually. But I feel better now that I've been getting out more, and then like I said, I'm going to focus more on just sharing my daily life, my daily activities. And yes, there's going to be a little bit of a commercial aspect to my broadcasting, because I am going to go out and cover some events, try to pick up a few interesting interviews with some people, interesting people, other successful people, other retired people. That's something I don't think we focus on enough, throughout life is, retirement, Will we ever reach retirement? And when we do, then what? You know what I'm saying? Because like I said before, I never thought I'd make it this far. And now here I am. And but I'm really enjoying being a senior citizen. And that's funny to say sometimes. I'm like, I'm a senior freaking citizen. And sometimes I forget when I'm out and about, when I'm shopping or whatever, I forget to ask for the senior discount. I always ask for that veterans discount, but I'm going to start asking more for the senior discount. And it's the same, 10 to 15% on things, I wish they would let you double up on them. That would be awesome if you could double up. Let me get that senior discount, knock that 10 or 15 off, and then let me get that veterans discount, knock off another 10 or 15. But they don't let you double up like that. But man, if they did, I'd be going crazy sometimes, But in any case, I say all of that babbling to say this. Whatever you do, okay, and this is for the youngsters, enjoy your youth, enjoy your young life while you have it, but plan for your senior life. Get yourself prepared. You may think you have forever. You might think, it might seem like light years away, before you get to this point. But let me tell you something. Life moves fast. And before you know it, you're looking back and you're wondering where all the time went. Who is calling? Who is calling? I can't talk right now. I'm streaming. I can't talk, Mark. You see me on the live? I can't talk. But anyway, enjoy your youth. Prepare for your future. Start putting back some savings, because let me tell you something. By the time, like you 30-somethings, by the time you get 60, life's going to be far more expensive than it is right now. That's one thing that I didn't anticipate was how much higher the cost of living was going to be when I got older. And now I'm like, wow, I wish I would have saved a little bit more. I wish I would have, made this investment or that investment, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm here, so I have to deal with what I got, or deal with it with what I got right now. Can't go back and rehash nothing. And that's another thing. Don't regret your life. No matter how you're living, don't regret anything. You do what you do. You do what you choose to do. okay? Just keep in mind that every choice has a consequence, okay? Everything that you do today is going to have a definite impact on your tomorrow, okay? It really is. You may not think so. You may think that these little things that you do right now are just for right now, but trust and believe everything that you do in life today is going to have an impact on your tomorrow, on your next week, on your next month, on your next year. We don't get anywhere in life by accident. We get to where we are in life based on the choices that we made in the past. And that's a fact. You can't blame anybody for where you're at. It's all on you. It really is. Everything that we do, our entire lives, our books are written by us. And I know we like to sit back sometimes and we like to blame the world and say, woe is me and all that. But the fact is that everything that happens to us in life happens because of the choices and decisions that we've made. You know, and we can't blame anybody else. We cannot blame anybody else but ourselves. So, keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. Make sure that, you know, you're making truly the choices and decisions that you want to make. Not to say you're always going to make the right choice. It's not to say that everything that you do is going to be the right move. But at the same time, it is going to be the right move because it's the move that you chose to make for yourself. All right? Don't let anybody, you know, influence you to the point that where you come out of character and you start doing things that you normally wouldn't do, or you do things that you know that you're going to regret later. If you got second thoughts about, you know, how things are going to turn out, then it's probably not a good idea to carry through. You know, you know that when you're making your decisions and you're making your choices in life, understand there are going to be consequences. So you got to kind of try to think ahead. You know, if I do this, what are the possibilities of this, that, or whatever? You know, how's it going to affect me moving forward? You know, because we look at things and we might say, wow, you know, if I do this, man, everything will be good. But really? Will it really be good? You really have to think about everything that you do in life, because every choice you make is critical. All right, y'all. So that's all I got to say for today. I know I rambled a bit, but hopefully somewhere in that rambling, you got something out of it. If not, hey, then just throw it away. Shit. My name is Ken. This is the Ken Jackson Experience, Ken's Morning Coffee. Happy Saturday to everybody. And I'll probably see you all later on. All right? So, until next time, peace. I am out. All right? Happy Saturday.